Hello everybody, I hope that you're all well. This is going to be a bit of a Q&A video, and also I want to revisit this topic of the drug that I've spoken about, Gabapentin. So I'm going to revisit that. But before I get into any of that, I just want to say to you all, thank you all very much for your kind words in your post to me, and whether it be via YouTube, some of you have contacted me via email as well, with your kind words of support while I've been having this this spike. Where am I with it? I'm better. I am better than I was. I'm still not where I like to be. I'm a level. I like to be at a level 1 or 2. That's where I'm comfortable. A level 1 or 2. I would say today was probably the best I'd had since this spike, and I'm more of around a level 3, 4, something like that. More of a 3. But I've managed to go back to work today, but I'm still not where I like to be. I'm not comfortable still, but getting your posts and messages and emails, thank you for that, because that does help. That does make me feel better. It does. So thank you all very, very much for that. It really is appreciated. Okay, so what I want to get into tonight, you probably can tell I'm not my full. How can I put this? I'm not on the ball as I usually am, because this is distracting me somewhat. But what I want to talk about tonight is I spoke about when I had my very bad spike in my last video that I made. I mentioned that when I had my very bad spike before this one, my doctor had put me on Gabapentin, and that I had decided to wean myself away from this drug, Gabapentin, which I had done. And I think this may have been a factor in why my tinnitus has had this minor spike. Why do I think this? I've been looking into this. My doctor, before I start down that road, my doctor, I did say in my last video that I went to see my doctor, and I do have faith in this doctor. I think he, how can I put this? He does have my interests at heart. And he is trying to help me, but, and it's a big but, he advised me to go back onto Gabapentin, putting the dosage back up to where I was when I first started taking it. Why did he do this? Because I'd been lowering the dosage. I think this could have been why it contributed to this minor spike. And he agreed, and he spoke about the balance between benefit versus side effects, and I was kind of going along with that. And I went back, as you will see me say in my last video, I went back to taking my full dose. I went back to 900 milligrams, whereas I'd got it down to 3 or less every other night. But I went back to 900 because this is what my doctor advised me to do. In good faith. Now the problem is, I have been in contact with long-term users of Gabapentin. I have only been using this drug since my very bad spike for approximately 3 months, so not really a long period of time. And I had already decided within that 3 months to lower the dosage. After speaking to some long-term users of this drug, I am going to stop taking it. I'm not going to stop cold turkey because they have told me this is one of the worst things you can do. Do not go cold turkey with it. I wouldn't do that anyway, but that's some advice that I want to put out there. Don't go cold turkey with most drugs. Don't do that. The withdrawals will be awful. But I am going to wean myself off of this drug. Now, why have I changed my mind again after my doctor told me to go back up in dosage? After speaking with long-term users of Gabapentin, the problem with this drug is, and it's the reason it works as well, I've spoken to a couple of long-term users, more than a couple, but these two in particular. Now, one woman that had been on this drug for over 10 years, please don't be frightened by this video. That's not the point of this video. I don't want to frighten anybody, but I want to put this out there as a warning about this drug. She had been on this drug for over 10 years, and she got to a stage, she was taking it for pain that she'd had from an injury, not tinnitus. She was taking it for pain. And everybody thought she had dementia towards the later years. She was so bad, they took her into hospital, and it was like she had dementia. She couldn't think at all. It was like she had lost her mind. And they decided to take her off this Gabapentin, and she's fine now. She's right as rain. And she made her own video about this, trying to warn other people about the long-term use of this drug. Another person that I was in contact with, they've been using it a number of years, and they basically had the same, they had very bad memory loss. They couldn't figure out why. Very bad memory loss. The speech was impaired, but worse than that, they started to have loss of feeling in their limbs, in their legs. Okay, so this is frightening stuff. Okay, now why did I feel that I wanted to go back? Well, I didn't want to go back onto it, but why did I go back onto it? Right, when I had the really bad spike, and my doctor gave me Gabapentin, it worked. It does work. For me, at least, it worked, and it worked quickly. Within the hour, it brought my very bad spike down. Within the hour, and I continued to use it, and it has. It does work, and the reason it works is also the problem with it. The reason it works is Gabapentin directly affects, acutely and directly affects the neurons in the brain, the way they fire. A simple way of putting it is Gabapentin blocks or slows the signals that the neurons are sending to your brain. That's why it's good for neuropathic pain, because it's stopping the signals that the neurons are sending to your brain. That's why it works, and that's why it worked for me. It was stopping the neurons firing in my head that were causing the tinnitus. It lowered it right down. But I decided to wean myself off of it because I want to be drugs free. And I think, and this is what I've heard from other long-term users who have also come off of this, I think what happens is, and has happened with me, while the Gabapentin has been stopping the signal the neurons are sending to my brain with this noise, while they've been doing that, and it's worked, unfortunately, it can also have long-term, I don't want to say damage, but what other word do you use? It can end up affecting parts of the brain, the neurons sending signals to your brain that you don't want it to affect. such as this poor guy who started to have slurred speech and the use of his limbs started to go and so on, and this other poor woman who was taken into hospital with what they thought was dementia, and it wasn't, it was gabapentin. Now with me, I think what's happened is when I've lowered the dosage, my brain, the neurons have, for want of a better way of putting it, it started to come back online, where the gabapentin was suppressing a lot of the signals to my brain with the tinnitus, where it's been suppressing it. When I've lowered the dosage, these neurons have started to come back online and started sending signals to my brain, and my brain's kind of been like, what's this I'm hearing again? What the hell is this? I don't like this. These signals I'm getting coming through to me. Where's this come from? And that's why I think my tinnitus has gone up. That's my theory. That's what I think it is. So whereas I had said I was going to go back on the gabapentin and take it right back up, which I did, I am going to wean myself off this drug, because I've spoken to a number of people that have used it for 2, 3 years, 10 years, and they've all had some bad experience with it, and they've come off of it. There are other people out there that have been taking, my doctor said to me he's had people on it for years with no side effects. But that's a bit of a, that's not a definitive statement, because that doesn't mean they're not going to. That doesn't mean, he said to me, I've had people, Adrian, on this drug for years and it's benefiting them, this balanced side effect versus benefit. It's benefiting them and they're not suffering any real side effects. It's fine, you know, continue with it, go back onto it. And I think he said it in good faith, but there's no experts in this. He's not an expert. There's no experts in this. The only experts, if you want to call them that, are the patients that have been taking this drug for a number of years. They're the only ones that can really tell you, because the medical fraternity doesn't seem to know. They guess a lot of the time, again. So although this is not in any way me you know, putting a real daggers into my doctor at all, because he did do it in good faith, and I like this doctor, and I do think he has my interests at heart, as he should, being a doctor. But on this, I don't think this was good advice, and this is why I'm going to stop taking this gabapentin. I'm not going to go cold turkey. I am going to reduce it as I was doing before. I have already started reducing it. But I hope not, but I think I may be going down a little bit of a bumpy road with this, getting off this drug. My spike is better than it was before. I've been really applying my own methods, the Tai Chi, more Tai Chi than anything, and just relaxing. And I went out over the weekend with my little boy Aaron, and he took his little friend and Amanda, and we went for nice relaxing walks in the park, and there was a lot going on because it's been a very hot weekend. There was lots going on. There was like a woman singing blues and jazz type music that was nice, and it was relaxing, and that's helped. But I'm not comfortable still. I'm still not comfortable. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, this revisit to this drug gabapentin, because I know my last video I was like, yeah, I'm going to go back on it. I am on it, but I am going to come off it. Yeah, I don't think it's the way to go. Even as a temporary, to alleviate, if you're having a really bad spike, okay, like I had, to maybe alleviate that for a short period of time. Yes, I think gabapentin's, it works. That's the bottom line with it. It does work, but it's something to really consider before taking it, as I am finding out for myself. So just be cautious. Be cautious. If you have a really bad spike, yes, it does work. It worked for me, it did help me. I don't want to labour this point, but it did help me. It does work, but that's the problem with it. The way it works is the reason it's a problem. So that's what I wanted to put out there. Okay, moving on to a little bit of a Q&A. Pete, you asked me in an email, I've got a dry throat. Pete, you asked me in an email, I've spoken about my friend with an audio device that my friend wears on his ear pretty much constantly, who has tinnitus, and he got his through, my friend got his through what he believes to be listening to loud music on earphones. And Pete, you asked me, have I ever used, or would I consider using, one of these auditory devices that play tones into your ear that are supposed to balance out or cancel out the tinnitus. These kind of ear devices. I've never used them. I've never used an auditory device. I had thought about it, but I don't think it's the way to go, because in my opinion, when you're doing this, and I think this is the problem with my friend and what he has found, you are just shrouding the noise constantly. You're shrouding the noise constantly. So you don't give your brain, as bizarre as this sounds, you're not giving your brain time to listen to the noise that you hear as tinnitus. So you're not giving your brain a chance to realise it doesn't need to hear this noise and reprioritize it, and put it to the back of your mind, you're not giving you're not allowing yourself to retrain your brain in the way it perceives the noise that you hear as tinnitus. All you're doing is shrouding it constantly, and this is the problem with these ear devices. My friend, when he takes these off, it's as bad as when he first got it, and I think that's because he hasn't allowed his brain to ever get used to hearing this noise. So when he takes the earpiece off, it's as bad as he ever heard it. That's what I think. So without having any personal experience of these auditory devices, I know there's a girl in America has her own YouTube channel. She tried one. It cost her $5,000 and it did her no good whatsoever. So that was $5 straight down the pan. When she went to the clinic where they fitted this device for her, when she went to the clinic, they kept telling her, no, you're doing fine, it's working, it's working, we can see that it's working for you, your tinnitus is definitely reducing using our device. It didn't, and this was just spiel, in my opinion, that they were telling her, because when I went onto her YouTube channel, she recently rediscovered this device and she chucked it in a box, and it had been in there for the past 5 years, and she rediscovered it and she said it never worked and it cost her $5,000. So make of that what you will. They may have improved on them now, I don't know, but it's not a route that I'm at this moment looking to go down, because I think you're just shrouding the noise. So I hope that answers your question, Pete. If you decide to try these auditory devices out, let me know how you get on with them. You know, I don't have experience of them myself, but I don't really think they're the answer. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, I've had a question from Daniel T. Daniel T. Right, you've asked me, are you doing 2 actual classes of yoga or Tai Chi a week? Does the weather or the seasons of the year seem to have an effect on the tinnitus? And have I been doing the Andrew Parr exercises right? First question, are you doing 2 actual classes of yoga or Tai Chi a week? I do my Tai Chi that I do. I don't go to classes. I do it at home, and I do it with an instructional. Can't speak. I do it with an instructional video DVD. My series is called the Element series. It's a beginner's guide to Tai Chi, and I find that perfectly adequate, and I love it. I love doing my Tai Chi. The more I'm doing it, the more I love it. The better I'm getting at it, the more it encouraged me to do more, and I love it. And when I am practicing my Tai Chi now with such focus, I'm not hearing, don't want to put it too strongly, but it feels like I'm not hearing the tinnitus while I'm doing the Tai Chi, because I'm so focused in the slow movements of the Tai Chi. My mind is taken away from my mind and into my body, and it's a relief while I'm doing Tai Chi. It's a real relief, and while I'm doing it, I'm not hearing my tinnitus, and I really do put Tai Chi out there as a really good therapy and relief from your tinnitus. I got the idea of doing Tai Chi from Julian. He's the one that got me onto that, and I love it, so I recommend it. But I don't go to any classes. I do it at home. I try to do it as often as I can. Last few days I've been trying to do it every day, and it does help. So yeah, I don't go into any classes, but I do my Tai Chi, practice my Tai Chi at home with the DVD. I will probably end up going to some classes when I get more advanced at it, and I feel like I'm not getting that personal one-on-one teaching that I think it will need to advance further with it. Then I will start going to a class. I'm going to try and get Amanda to come with me. She doesn't know that yet. So I hope that answers your first question. Second question, does the weather or the seasons affect my tinnitus? Yeah, I think it does a little bit. When the weather's very close and you know, it's that stormy kind of hot, close weather, yeah, I think it does. When it's stormy or it's going to storm but it's hot, it does seem to aggravate it a little bit. So yes, I do think the weather, trying to think of the scientific word and I can't think of it, but you get what I'm saying. Like the weekend when it was very nice hot weather, and I went and laid under the shade in the park listening to the music with, my little boy was playing with his friend and Amanda was there, and it was nice. It helped. But stormy weather, and it's a bit like that tonight. It's been raining here, but it's very hot. Yeah, that seems to aggravate it. So I would say, Daniel, yes, I do. I think the weather can, for me, does seem to have a bit of an effect on the intensity of my tinnitus. Perhaps other people would like to also answer you on the post that you left me if they experience the same thing. But yeah, I think it can, and it does to a degree. Right, and what was the last question? Oh, the Andrew Parr exercises. Yes, I do still do the Andrew Parr meditations. Not as regularly as I used to do, although the last few days I've tried to do a bit more than I usually would because of this spike. It got to a point with me where I could go to bed and just breathe in the way that Andrew explains on these meditation videos, and that my mind associates this form of breathing with relaxation, and that was enough to get me to go to sleep. That's the stage I kind of got with them. The idea of them to begin with is not to go to sleep, as you've heard me say before. The idea is not to go to sleep to begin with, but when you feel that you want to, you can use them to go to sleep, and I got to a stage where I could just breathe in the way that Andrew describes, and my mind associates that with relaxation. And talking of the meditation self-hypnosis videos, I know I haven't done one for a little while. I will finish them to completion. It's just life getting in the way, and just life, but I will get around to it. I know a lot of you now have the audio files, which is a better way of doing it, because you're getting the true stereo, and the sound was recorded in a certain way. So with the audio files, you're getting how they were meant to be heard. But I will do the videos. In fact, someone sent me a post recently saying they use the videos, the Andrew Parr meditation videos that I put out there as part of their episodes of therapy. So I will continue to do them, and I will complete them to completion. So that will be happening. And lastly, for tonight, I've just seen Gray has put up a video tonight, strangely enough. I've just emailed him. I think we've got some unconscious telepathic link or something going on, because this is getting weird. When he puts a video out, I usually do the same thing at the same time, and when he has a spike, quite often I'm the same. It hasn't happened like that this time round. He's okay and I'm not. But yeah, we've been in touch by email, me and Gray, and yeah, I think it would be really great to do a video with you, Gray. So hopefully we can sort that out. We will sort that out. And I very much look forward to meeting you, and I know Amanda is very much looking forward to meeting you, and for you to come down and meet my family and my son Aaron and so on. So we are looking forward to having you come and stay with us. As for the video, what we're going to do with it, yeah, we'll do a bit of a Q&A. I think that would be a good idea for our subscribers to leave their questions to you, mine to me, and we can do a Q&A, and we'll just roll with it. And we can give our own experiences of what we found with our own tinnitus, what's helped us, and also what I think would be a good thing and to discuss would be what we wish we knew now, what we know now, you know. I've said this to Amanda, because me and Amanda were going to do one. What does she wish that she knew back then when I first was struck with tinnitus that she knows now? And also myself, what do I wish I knew back then when I was first struck with tinnitus, when I was in this awful place where it felt like there was no hope? And I know a lot of you, how you're feeling. Kathy, recently, I know you've been very bad. I've been where you are. And what I wish I had known then, where I am, where you are now, what I wish I knew then that I know now. You know, because we can, and we do, and we will get our lives back from this condition. You know, like I've said before, I had 3 days of silence, so I know it's possible. It's possible. This is just a bump for me at the moment in this road back to recovery. Okay, I may have rambled a little bit myself tonight, Gray, so you'll have to forgive me. I'm not on the ball really. I'm not a level 1 or 2 aid at the moment, so you'll have to forgive me. But anyway, I am going to end it there. Thank you everybody for your kind words. I really do appreciate it. It does make me feel better, and for me, what I need to do is I need to get better so I can help you guys out there get better. And I hope the advice that I give out is still helpful. And as I've said in my last video, if I need to rethink something, or I think I've missed something, or I've rethought something, such as this Gabapentin, you know, I'm not infallible by any means. I will put this out there, and I will try and put my new thoughts on it. So I hope that's I hope this has been an interesting and helpful video. Thank you all very much. Best wishes to all of you, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.